So, this is the third time, right?
No. Yes.
Okay. This is a special episode of Chibi No Podcast, review episode. We are going to review Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, which I personally will say is the best Spider-Man movie out there.
I love how you call it a special when it's not a
It's
special.
regular,
It's just a review.
Yeah, reviews
Not a
are...
special episode.
It's not a podcast, it's a review episode.
But it's not...
Shut your mouth.
Anyway.
Anyways, let's get into introductions. You know me, the one, the best and greatest, Mr. Mister. In front of me, with the red shirt and black.
This is Miles, your tech guy. How's it going, everyone?
I love how you give the descriptions. They're not going to see this.
Doesn't matter. Shut up, weeaboo. The one with the pug socks. In front of me is...
It is I,
Hipster.
Paul.
And the one with the Scandal shirt that nobody knows who Scandal is in the U.S.
Hipster Paul knows. He's in the U.S.
They're pretty good.
This is David the Smash Fan here, giving you the best reviews on the interwebs. So,
Special edition, Christmas.
yeah.
Day before Christmas.
So it's been about a week, I believe, since Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, right? It's been about a week, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. So I know this review is coming a little bit late, but I really wanted... I personally hadn't been able to see it for a while, and I think after watching it, and Hipster Paul watching it, I think twice or 3 times maybe, I don't remember,
2 times.
that we can give a better review, a better understanding and perspective on the movie.
Yes.
So we'll do this first part, about 5 minutes, just kind of overview of the movie, and then after that we'll go into spoilers and stuff that we loved, and where we think a sequel, because there's a sequel confirmed of where that's going to go.
And a spin-off.
Yes. So let's get on with the first thing. So this was
Great.
this was about obviously about Miles Morales and not Peter Parker. So for the first actual Spider-Man movie, not focused on Peter Parker, how do you felt it went?
Great.
Best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It was near masterpiece level, pretty much.
I agree.
Okay, that I thought there was gonna be more conversation, but I guess okay,
no,
great.
okay. How about
That's a
we
consensus.
go
Okay,
in here? We
okay.
go in here. We go in here. So this is the first Spider-Man movie that Sony's made in a bit since the Amazing Spider-Man, and then since Marvel has been able to put Spider-Man into the Marvel universe. So not what's his name?
Not Venom.
No, what's his name? The actor who plays Spider-Man.
Holland?
Tom Holland. Since Tom Holland took the suit. So, I mean, and then just seeing how they do things their way, Sony, I was kind of skeptical at first.
Everybody
and then
was.
on top of that, the animation is very unique. So a lot of people were kind of nervous, but then everyone was kind of excited too, because this is, like my brother said, it's not Peter Parker, it is Miles Morales.
I was kind of excited to finally see him in an actual movie because, I his character is always interesting, but even like in games or he has little cameos in other movies, it's just...
TV shows too.
Yeah, it was nice to actually I was excited just to actually get this character and see what they're going to do to differentiate him from like the comic books. And I thought they did a really good job as a protagonist. I thought he was really well done. Very well done.
Yeah, especially the way that they set everything up. I mean, when I watched the trailer, yeah, it did appear that it's something to do with Miles Morales, but I was not expected to be like an origin story.
Well, even the trailers didn't even spoil much. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was going in for. Like when Paul, when you hit me up to go, I mean, I was excited to go see it, but I mean, I wasn't expecting to go see like a 10 out of 10 type of movie. I was expecting to see like a 7, maybe a 7.5.
like kind of like Pacific Rim, something like that.
Yeah, it didn't really give you much to go in. And I remember when we went in, we just had smiles on our face the entire time, and we're just hyped, It was
Yeah, although at first, we kind of had to get used to the whole
the animation, right?
Yeah, because
Which
the
is
way...
not bad. It kind of starts off almost like.
Well, here's my issue when the first trailer dropped is I thought it was horrid because it looked so choppy.
Yeah.
And it's an artistic,
design
that they had it that way, and I was just like, this looks so dumb. Like, this is gonna be the worst thing ever. I don't know why they're trying to do this, like, because they did the Spider-Verse in the Disney Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man show, and that one actually was really, really good because that's when you first saw Miles Morales, who was voiced by Donald Glover, which I was cool.
That's actually cool. I can see
So
that,
that one's cool. That's different. It's very different than what's happening in the movie because that one follows Peter Parker going into different universes. I mean, the different Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and you get to see that from Peter Parker's perspective.
Yeah.
As in this movie, it's all about Miles.
It's reversed.
Kind of remind me of that game too. What was that one on Xbox? The Shattered Dimensions or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of very similar. well, I don't want to get into spoiler territory because it relates to the
Not
movie,
yet.
but I really like that idea, and it was kind of cool to see like what Stanley always kind of wanted, something like this, you know?
Right,
to
and-
have that
Yeah,
was
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it has a nice balance. It was very artistic. It was really funny. It had a nice story plot. You know, it doesn't seem like they were just focusing on just one particular character.
Yeah.
You actually get to see a little bit more about certain characters in the movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they did manage to have a nice balance on all things.
Yeah. So what I did like too is, so you know how we discussed earlier that the animation was kind of off at times. The thing I liked was when they wanted you to focus on certain things, it would kind of make the thing you have to focus on clear, and the other things were kind of blurred in the background.
You know,
you
when we
know.
say weird, it's not like an insult. It's just, it's once you get used to it, you start to see where like this is something new and
They want you to focus on these
nice,
things, and I think
yes.
since they did it that way, it was easier to understand the story. In my opinion, I loved it. It everything that made me skeptical about this movie changed as I was watching the movie, and impressed me. The soundtrack, the character, how they got along with each other, and everything. It was good.
In addition to that, I like how they only don't have just one style of animation. Once they introduce the other Spider-Man from different universes, you get to see that each particular Spider-Man, apart from what makes them different, you can see that artistically they look a bit different because they're from different universes.
Right.
So
And
no, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that my only gripe about the movie was the design they had for Kingpin. He just felt so out of place. Like even Spider-Ham, who was in the movie, he didn't seem out of place in there because you're like expecting him from a different universe where
Who is
animals-
Spider-Ham anyway? Like, what's he from?
he's
realistically?
from the
Like a comic.
he's from the he's in
There's
the
a
comic
comic
books.
of that.
Yeah.
Yep, there's
Okay,
a
'cause
comic
that was
book
all
of
new
Peter
to me when I
Porker.
saw him.
So like even he didn't seem out of place because he's from a different universe where animals can talk and he's a superhero in that movie. But Kingpin just looked off. He looked like a square, the big old square, and it just
No, I agree. I
was
think
way
Kingpin
off.
was the worst design of the entire movie.
I didn't
he was
mind
a
it.
great villain in it, obviously, but his
design was
I did not.
I wasn't a big fan of
enjoy
his
it.
design. I think it just kind of for me personally it took away. You know, I think they're trying to make him seem like he's like this overpowered like guy, like he's not like that they can't take on by themselves. And I get that's what they're trying to do, but it just
A little
again, he
head
felt
between you know what he reminded me of is remember in Naruto when they're fighting what was his name the one with the 4 hearts from the Akatsuki Kakuzu when they're fighting him. Remember his hearts with like the little white face in the middle and
Yeah.
his big Brody black body. That's what he reminded me of.
yeah, but
See, the thing I didn't mind is because if you think about it, that Kingpin is from a different universe. And not to mention, they also had the Green Goblin in there as well, and he looked different than you.
I did not like.
Well, no, the Green
Green Goblin
Goblin.
as well.
Well, that's if you watch like the comics and stuff. He mutates himself to be even more to be that big monster.
But yeah, but that actually
But the
happens
thing
in
is-
alternative universe.
Yeah,
though. It doesn't
but the
happen
thing
in
that
this
makes it weird
main
in
universe.
in what I agree with my brother is everyone looks human-esque. Green Goblin is a mutated person, and then Scorpion. Well, spoiler because Scorpion's in there. Light spoiler. He's like
Latino.
robotic. He's
He's
robotic.
Latino.
cameo design shots. We'll just say it
Yeah,
that way.
but
The
Kingpin
characters.
looked very cartoonish compared to everyone else.
Yeah, he seemed different than the
'Cause he was so
other designs,
gigantic.
I guess.
it was just
Yeah.
funny
And I
because
understand that.
it is animated. But even in the animated one, he really
out of place
stuck
in the
out
art
and just felt
style.
out of place. At least to me. Like I
I
said,
understand
Hipster
what you're
Paul's
talking
is on the different one. But I mean,
No, that's fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's pretty much it for the non-spoiler part. So let's go into the actual meat of the movie.
Mm.
Can we just start with the intro because that was amazing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like just how okay, so when they're like going over the original Spider-Man, 1 through 3 kind of scenes, and they're doing the flashbacks of Peter Parker, when they did the dance scene to number 3,
Oh yeah.
when they did that, he's like, and there's this. We don't talk about that. I was like, I remember me and Paul, we looked at each other, just smiled and laughed and looked right back like, okay, this is already starting to get my attention into this movie because I didn't know what to expect going into this. And I thought the intro is one of the best way to show like nice homage to the original and kind of give you an idea of like this can kind of take place in the universe we already know by expanding upon it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys like the intro of how they set everything up with the backstory stuff?
Oh, it was great, especially with Miles' backstory too. You get to understand where is he from, what's his ethnicity, his family as well.
Puerto Rican.
Shout out to Luari there. But also the ability that he goes to a new school, being able to not able to adapt to a school. He doesn't want to be your typical, hey, I want to be like a really smart guy trying to study all the books. Even though like he seems pretty.
He's smart.
Yeah, he's
he's
pretty
just
smart.
not like.
But
Peter
he has
Parker smart with like science.
right. He has a passion.
Well, I don't think. Well, it
That's not
doesn't
an
really
insult,
show.
it's just-
No, it doesn't show that he's smart. It's because that's not what the. I don't feel like that's what the movie was showing.
No,
I mean,
that's
he-
what they wanted to show. They were actually.
they didn't bother because, but
Right.
I think he is smart because I don't know his backstory. Because remember with the teacher, the whole thing was teachers like, there's no way you can get a 0. Like if if you did a test, it's 50 out of
Well,
50.
it was
So
implied
he
that he's
intentionally
really
chose-
smart. He
Right.
just didn't want to.
Yeah,
you know.
so I'm not saying he's not smart, but we don't know how smart he really is.
Yeah.
That's
He's not
what it
applying
is.
himself to that.
He's not
Because, yeah.
because he
he's
doesn't
not
want
working
to.
with, like,
He doesn't
teenagers
want
or
to because if
anything.
he actually had the ability to do so, if he actually had the motivation to do so, he will actually show
Yeah,
it.
so we don't know. But
Right.
anyways,
But he
I like
did
that.
have some passion when it comes to other things.
Well-
That was kind of cool.
Going back to Miles Morales, how did you like his portrayal? Because I don't know if you've ever seen him in if you've ever read comic books in him, or if you saw the cartoon that has him in him. But he's also very different. This iteration of Miles Morales, I guess because they expanded on his ethnicity, but like his how he likes to be creative. Like he's a very artistic type of person. Like he loves listening to music. He does the graffiti type thing. Like later on when he does his actual suit, like he's a very creative, artistic kind of person. I really like that they put that in him. But I don't know how you guys.
I would like
felt.
to say that I liked his growth because the intro when he's just kind of being a little punk, not caring about school, and he's like the typical teenager at the start, just wanting to spray paint, and he's, throwing the things up on the light, and the dad was getting mad. I'm like, that type of stuff is just like, oh, he's kind of a punk kid. To me, what was great was to see him come out of that shell, learn the responsibility if you have power type things, and his growth between the characters and learning his powers and then coming into his own. That to me was just written so perfectly, I guess you could say.
And not to mention the way that he gets pushed into like, hey, you want to be a Spider-Man, show it to me, show me you can do like certain stuff.
yeah, it's just because you have the ability to be Spider-Man doesn't mean you
Right.
can be Spider-Man.
Right.
One thing controversial on that as well. How did you guys feel about his technique being invisible, like how you could do that? How did you guys like that? I know
Well,
there's
because
some controversy on that.
I don't see it as controversy. I
I
think
don't
it's
think
good
either.
because
I've
I
heard
mean,
a lot of people complain. I
well,
liked it, but
I like it, but because there shouldn't be any controversy because why would Miles get bitten by the same spider? I mean, I think from
well, he got bit by a interdimensional spider, right?
no, he got
No,
just
it's a spider
it-
from that universe.
it's
Well, I remember it was like freaking out, like it was like glitching before it bit him.
no, it was a spider that was so kind of like how in the Spider-Man movie, the Tobey Maguire one, how
Right.
they genetically engineered spiders. Each one was different.
I know, but
So
I thought
that spider
I
was-
thought that when it bit him, I thought it started glitching after he
No, it-
remember like when it bit him, then he smacks it.
It went invisible. It was dying.
So one of the mutations on that spider was that it could go invisible. So when he got bit, that's why he's had those different powers.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I'm just asking, didn't it glitch? I thought the spider did it
no,
glitch.
they
No, it didn't glitch.
Okay,
Not that I remember at least.
I swear it glitched.
I'm not sure. Either way, like he got bit by a different spider than Peter Parker
No.
did.
I get that. I was just implying. I thought that the spider was from one of the other dimensions.
I really don't know, but I do know that in any of the comics, he does have those abilities. He can go invisible and he can shock people.
Yes.
Okay.
So
He
that's
can't-
that's
Yeah,
just
that was part of it too. And I think that what makes him kind of special and unique. You're a Spider-Man, but you're not the same as Spider-Man. You have a little bit more things that you can do.
They did that with different ones. With Penny Parker, like it's not her that has the powers. It's
well,
like,
she gets super smart when she got bit by
yeah,
it.
but it's not her that has like all the abilities. She also fights with the robot. And then you have the Spider-Man. The after credits.
Spider-Man Noir or
No, not 2199.
But talk about
But anyway, he's different because he's more spider-like. That's what Mr. Mister likes about him, right? Because he's more spider-like.
and he's Latino.
Yes.
No, Miguel O'Hara is Russian and something else. I think maybe he's.
Miguel sounds like Spanish.
Yeah, but that's a Russian name too.
Well,
I found out.
let's kind of move things on along here. Were you all surprised at the death of Miles Morales as Peter Parker?
I hated that scene.
Yeah.
When I say hate it, it emotionally impacted me. Is what I'm saying.
It did
Like
to
if I had
me,
a
too.
kid, I wouldn't want to bring my 5-year-old to this damn movie.
And it's PG, I think.
Yeah, some of the death scenes in this, because we'll get to that later, but some of the death scenes were very brutal. Like when Spider-Man was dying, I don't know about you guys, but I felt sick in my stomach watching that.
No, I was good.
No, I
That's
got,
'cause you're
I got
heartless.
affected. I got affected
Thank you.
by it.
We're not heartless. Thank you, Paul.
No, I was surprised because, like I said, I know some of Miles Morales things, so I know that in his world, Peter Parker does die.
He does, and he does die. And in each universe, there is someone important to them
Who
that
dies.
dies. And Miles Morales one, yes, he does die. I just wasn't expecting. Okay, the way that they had it done, I knew there was that other Peter Parker coming in, and I was like, well, I wasn't expecting Peter Parker to be in the movie. Like Miles Morales is Peter Parker to be in the movie. So
I think it goes back to the trailer. You know, they did a good job.
yeah, they did
showing
a good
those
job. I was like,
parts
I had
into
no
that.
idea what the heck that was going.
How did you feel when he died? Did you get impacted? Did you get impacted as well?
Dude,
It
I
was-
felt sad.
It was more of Kingpin's his motives to open up and go to different universes was his he always has his vendetta for Spider-Man, and more important because of him fighting him that Vanessa and her son got killed, not directly because of Spider-Man, but because of their fight that she had to run away and was very scared and got killed, and which motivates him to open up the universes. And it was just like I guess a little bit of sympathy for Kingpin, because Spider-Man says like, I saw what was in there, like you can't get what you're wanting, and in a fit of rage, that's when he just boom and just got him. So it was like it was a surprise. It took me a while to be like, did that really just happen?
Yeah, I was almost like, did he really
Yeah.
die? Even I was expecting him to be okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, for a while, then he wasn't, and then you see the grave. It's like, damn, man, this is like, I don't know, it hit me in the feels.
And then, after what happens, once Miles goes and buy the Spider-Man suit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man,
The Stan Lee
that
scene?
really got to me. Even though it was like kind of funny, I was watching that. I was like,
Didn't our whole theater kind of like people like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like they're like, oh.
oh, man.
What if it doesn't fit? You'll grow into it. And he's
You'll
like,
grow
no
into it.
refunds. He's like,
But yeah,
was so
having him in there, I don't know. It's just,
It's great having one
It
of
was
the
great.
cameos.
I mean, it was great that he had to do it, and especially in Spider-Man.
Especially Spider-Man.
Oh man.
the most pivotal part to me was at the near the end when Miles Morales does really become his own version of Spider-Man, and when he goes to when he finally like hears his dad talking about how his uncle is dead, and how Miles Morales found out that the guy who was chasing him is his uncle, and he inadvertently got him killed because he couldn't kill Miles. Like when he finally like understands the responsibility, like this is gonna happen, I can't save everyone. And he goes to Aunt May, and they do the little montage where he
Aunt May
spray
was a
paints.
badass, by the way.
That song that's on, it's called "What's Up Danger." For me, that's
That was
the
also
best
the trailer
song.
too.
Yeah, that's the best song that's on that soundtrack, because it just came out, and then when he jumps off, when he hears the words of Peter Parker, like all it takes is a leap of faith, and he just jumps off. The way that they show him falling,
The cinematography of that was one of the most beautiful animated shots I've ever seen in animated shows. Like literally.
Especially like
Yeah.
the way that they also introduce like each Spider-Man. Each one have like at the very beginning, before you actually know their backstory, you get to see like their magazine cover of their each
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
one.
Their comic cover.
And then when Miles comes, boom.
there he is.
Yeah, when he has that hoodie on and he has the spray paint on the suit, like, oh my, I got chills.
Oh, that
dude.
was
It
dope.
was hype at that point. Oh, it's so good.
It was amazing. So we'll have a few minutes left. So we could go on forever about this movie, but let's kind of talk about what's next. What's next for Spider-Man? Because there's the ending scene before the after credits scene, which again I don't know if this was a stylistic thing or if this is telling us that
What's
there's gonna be more.
about?
So at the very end, when Miles is in his bed and he's on his phone, all of a sudden you see the little warp tunnel, and you hear Gwen Stacy talk to him, and then then I think he says something, and then it ends. So it's not made clear if that was just a little like thing, like, oh, they're still connected, in quotation marks, or not, because in the after credit scene, you see the other Spider-Man grab the little device that, if you saw Deadpool 2,
$21.99.
yeah, 21. He has that same device that Deadpool had at the end of Deadpool 2, and is comedic. But his goal is he wants to gather all the Spider-Mans. For what reason we don't know. And then he ends up in the 1960s with that Spider-Man.
Well,
The pointing
From what I'm able
Yeah.
to see, the title itself, it's Into the Spider-Verse. So they're gonna have that. They're gonna do the comic adaptation of the Into Spider-Verse.
right, but that one, at least the comic book adaptation is in the perspective of Peter Parker. With
Right.
this one, they'd have to do Miles Morales or have another Spider-Man be the main Spider-Man and then gather up everyone else.
Well,
So-
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if that were to happen, would you guys be okay with it, or would you guys like, I want to see more Miles Morales?
I want to see more Miles Morales, but like I said, this could be a stepping stone for him having his own show.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that, you know how they're making their Netflix series. I mean, Marvel's making their Marvel series. They could give Miles Morales his own show on their streaming service.
I don't know if Sony would
As
let him
much
do
as
that.
I like
Yeah.
that, the thing is, like, Miles is great, but so was Spider-Gwen. Like, Gwen Stacy
Yeah.
was great. The older Peter Parker was great. Like, what I'm getting at is there's so much good characters, and like with what's Spider-Man 2199's name again?
Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel O'Hara.
Huh?
Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel. So, personally, if they do a sequel, I kind of like Miguel to be the center protagonist this time,
Could be, yeah.
or and maybe
A new Spider-Man.
yeah, or like even if we have more of a Spider-Gwen movie and as a third one, I don't care. It's just like how they did this universe for this first one with Miles Morales was so good, and all the other characters were really good. I mean, seeing Spider-Gwen from the comic to the live action to me was a treat. But then 2199, I mean, we haven't really gotten anything out of that. Like, I mean, besides some of the games. So, like, Miles is more a character. I think that most Spider-Man fans, like even just casual fans, are more familiar with rather than 2199. So, if they did a sequel, I like it focused more on 2199 personally.
I would like to see Superior Spider-Man. I think that would be my top.
Yeah, just more Spider-Man. I mean, whoever like for the direction and the writing, I'm sure this team can give us endless great stories.
I mean, I wouldn't mind to actually have Miles as the main character in the
Sure.
next movies.
Yeah, I'm
but I
fine
would like
either
to
way.
see like other Spider-Mans like that.
Either way, like
Either way, I'm
not getting away like in a bad way, but telling the story of Spider-Man without Peter Parker being the main Spider-Man, I
It's
think is a great
risky.
idea. It's risky, but Spider-Verse, this
it
movie
proved
has
it could
shown
work.
that it can work.
Yeah.
But now the riskier one is we love Miles, we love what happened there, but now in the sequel, if they change it to another Spider, that's another huge
Like
risk.
Miguel, that could be huge.
Well, I know they're gonna do the spin-off with Spider-Gwen and the other Spider-Girls in the Spider-Universe together.
Spider Girls.
Yeah, like Spider-Woman, Silk.
There is
Scarlet,
Spider-Woman,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
Spider-Gwen.
Silk, Scarlet.
Spider Gwen was done perfect. Like the connection between, like, if they were to do
So
a sequel, I'd like a time skip.
that's
personally.
what I heard. I heard they're gonna do like a spin-off, and then in addition to that, they're gonna be the sequel that we're waiting for.
I mean, I'd be fine with just more content in general. I mean, I'm sure you guys already are going to buy this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So before we end, what's the? You already know my score, but what's your final score for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
9.8.
9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10.
9.9 Spider-Hams.
It's 10 out of 10 chibis. That's what they are.
It's a masterpiece.
You want to know?
This is-
You know what I liked
yeah.
was when Spider-Ham was like, he gives Miles the hammer. He's like, "Don't worry, it'll fit in your pocket, 'cause Toon Power."
Oh, the fun out. Just on that, when he says like, "That's all, folks," and they're like, "Can we say that legally?"
Oh, that was great.
I love that. I was like, just so many Easter eggs, so many stuff that they did in this movie. I mean, we could talk about it forever,
If you
but
watch it over and over, you probably get a lot more Easter eggs.
Yeah,
which I
'cause
noticed.
I was able to see this Spider-Man suit from the game. You know the.
Oh,
yeah, it
right.
was in there. I
Yeah,
didn't.
the
I
one with the
haven't
white-
played
you
it.
pointed that out to me.
Yeah, he appears around that particular scene, and then end credits as well too.
So
And then they
cool.
have
There's more in there too.
they
If you actually look at the
they
credits.
do homages to the Black Panther Blu-ray cover because you see him standing on the Jaguar on the statue.
Oh, that's what you meant by that. The Wakanda. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's Wakanda. That
Awesome.
he's T'Challa. So
Movie
that-
is so good.
yeah. So
Please go see it if you're hesitant. The trailers don't really give you much, and
which
that's
is
a
good.
thing.
And that should
You're
actually
gonna go
be
in like,
that.
oh, what is this? And you're gonna come out like, oh my gosh, what the heck was that?
And if you like it so much, go and watch it again and again and again.
true that.
Bring your friends.
All right, thanks so much for listening, guys. Saying goodbye for now. This is David the Smash Fan.
Mister.
Miles, take a.
It's your call, Portugal.
Here's the Paul Photo Channel. All right, this is Chibi no Podcast.
Peace.